Make some noise for your host this evening, Drew Flagge.
What's going on, Milwaukee Improv Late Show? You guys feeling? I love the late show crowd because you guys have been drinking up until now. This is the end of your night. This is like, you're like, fucking, we're gonna go home, all of us that are on a date. We're gonna fuck for a long time and no one's gonna come because we're drunk from all day. Right? Like, it's good. Like, you're gonna annoy your neighbors. That's what I know about the late crowds. A lot of renters. You guys aren't doing yard work tomorrow. You're like, we rent and we fuck hard and on the second floor. Right? I get it. I live on the second floor. I know how it goes. All right, like the late show's fun, right? You're like, all right, let's just cut the shit. Dick jokes, right, funny man? That's what... Okay, well, hey, I hate my job, you guys. I hate it. I really hate it. Like, I work on a side of town, and I live in Milwaukee. I work on a side of town that is bad. It's where the news is all the time. It's like, okay, you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like it's where the news is. It's bad. Like, they had a Starbucks close because it was robbed. What Starbucks corporate said was too many times. Which means that there is an acceptable amount of times that Starbucks is willing to allow a store to get robbed. It's 4, just so you know, if you're thinking about working at Starbucks, you know. It's like if like 3 times you get a gun pointed at you and you're trying to make a frappe, it's like that comes with the job. Deal with it. You knew the risks. It treats you like a fucking Marine when you're a barista. You know, baristas, you know, they know everything, right? Statistically, according to the barista that I go to, none of you are vaccinated, okay? Because barista, I don't know if you know, is the Italian word for activist/professor. So, they know everything. Their septum piercing wiggles every time they know someone's not vaccinated. It starts wiggling. She's like, did he like one of Trump's tweets over 4 years? And I'm like, yeah, I did, actually. I'm a drinker. I hate my job, seriously, I'll tell you, I hate it. A good day at work for me is like coming home from work and finding out that your girlfriend's been cheating on you, but like the guy's kind of cool, so you're like, all right, like he's got a jet ski, right? Like, I get it. A bad day at work for me is like coming home from work and finding out that your girlfriend's been cheating on you, and you're like, Dad, come on, man. Like, you were like a father to me. No, this is one of the worst things that ever happened to me. It was last year, and it wasn't pandemic related, and I kind of wish it was, because that would have been a normal bad day at work last year. But I was leaving an account that I deal with at my job. I was walking around the side of a building to my work truck, and a homeless man was peeing on my truck. And there were pine trees behind him, so this felt malicious, right? Like, this was a targeted attack. And I was like, bro, and he's like, the fuck is your problem? I'm like, yeah, I'd be mad too if somebody parked their work truck in my bathroom. Like, your bathroom is everywhere. This guy had just brown pee, because he's malnourished. You know how homeless people are. It was brown, and it was hitting the rims of my work truck. I'm like, do I have to write this up on my post-trip inspection? Like, is this like a defect on the truck now? Does anybody know DOT stuff here? I don't know. But also it was alarming, because this guy, not that it matters, his dick was huge. Like, it was a big homeless dick, like just hosing down the rims of my work truck. And, okay, like you guys, like, you're like, how big is big? I'm like, okay, so like, we got a lot of women right here, you know how dicks work, right? Like, so he's peeing, so it was soft, right? And it was big, soft, right? And you're like, how big is big? And I'm like, okay, so he's got it in his hand, it's soft, we're all on board here. It was like 3 inches past the top knuckle, like that, like a Spectrum remote. You remember cable? Cable remotes are like the basic unit of measurement for homeless dicks peeing on my work truck. That's what it is. It was like a Spectrum remote. Just hosing down my office. And I was confused. Not like I wanted to suck it or nothing, but like I was confused because I was like, with a dick that big, like how are you homeless? Like there ain't one girl that would take, like I could use that big homeless dick, take it home with them. My girlfriend owns a Live, Laugh, Love poster. She could have probably been like, I could use that big dick. It's a talking piece at least, right? Like, and I was like, with a dick that big, like how do you not have a job? I was like, it's not gonna be honorable work, but like neither is my job. You know how I know? A homeless guy was peeing on my truck. No one respects what I do. The best part of my day is I get to drive past the cemetery every day. That's uplifting. I'm like, wow, no matter how many big dick homeless guys, yeah, I'm still on it. Pee on my truck, someday it'll be that fucking good. I look at headstones and get uplifted. I'm like, wow. I tweeted that. I said, Those guys are just dying the dream. Guy I work with was like, hey, that was really funny what you said. And I'm like, yeah, well, likes don't cost nothing, Jamie. So how about, I want to do comedy. I don't want to work here anymore. Get this trending. And he came up to me an hour later and goes, when I die, I'm going to come back and haunt this fucking place. And I was like, we can't even get you to pick up an extra day. It's $50 extra on a Saturday. And you're like, well, I'm not coming in for that, but you're going to come in here for unpaid overtime for all eternity? Fuck you, Jamie. I'm going to fuck you, Jamie. How about that? It's fucking dumb. I don't know. Applebee's is back. You guys excited about that? Yeah, Applebee's. You saw the commercial. Applebee's is back. Guess what? If you have to say you're back, you're not back. Applebee's is not back. Okay, you know who never went away during the pandemic? Texas Roadhouse. Because patriots need lava cake, right? They were like, fuck a 2 for $20. You come in here and call COVID a hoax and throw your mask on the floor, we'll give you every entree for $17.76. Patriots! Let's go! They made money. I don't know. You know who's not suffering for some reason? The Olive Garden. You guys know the Olive Garden's motto, right? It's Italian food for people that think Italian food tastes a little too Mexican, right? Like it's a lot of white guys in khakis saying gabagool. That's what that is. And I can say that just so you know. I can say that because I'm 6% Italian, right? My little sister, she took one of those 23andMe spit in a tube things before. That was bioterrorism. She did that. She mailed off her spit. Didn't get put on a database except for one that's like, hey, you have German ancestors too. And you're like, oh, fuck. Because my sister's from the suburbs, right? Like, she looks like me. She wanted to know if any of our ancestors could dance. And we are no percent black. Like, no rhythm. We're just white from the mountains. Like we're like the White Walkers, winter is coming, but our girlfriends aren't, right? Like it's fucking gross. We found out we're only 4 things. We're German, Polish, Czech, and 6% Italian. You know how I become 6% Italian? One of my great-grandmothers was on vacation one time in Italy, and she asked for directions, and a guy in a moped spit in her mouth. That's how you, it's like, bippity-boppity or something like that. Those dirt people say. I don't know. I can say that. I'm Italian. I was in a grocery store one time and I saw a can of Pringles and the flavor was loud, super cheesy Italian. And I was like, man, you could have saved label space and just called it Guido, right? Like that I was like, I didn't even get offended at myself for saying that because I'm 6% Italian. I have Italian spit on a grandmother. I found out we're German. Don't click on that tab. It's scary. And I find out a grandfather's quoted as saying they didn't find all the camps. It's like, holy fuck, Grandpa, no! Polish, those jokes all got made on Mad Men. We're still talking about cable too, by the way. Yes. I don't know, around the water cooler. It's gross. I don't know if you can tell by the tone of my voice, but I have a girlfriend. She's not happy. My girlfriend, she likes to say a lot of cute things. Like one time she said, I think it's adorable the way you can go from having a full-blown conversation to being just passed out asleep. And I'm like, that's not a quirky personality. That is undiagnosed narcolepsy. Like I was like, I need better insurance because we need some pills to keep me awake, honestly. She said to me one time, she goes, hey, what makes me stand out among all the other women? And I was like, dead honest with her, I was like, I didn't know we were fighting today. I was like, I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say? I was like, we were at a wedding, her friend's wedding, her lesbian friend's wedding. I'm like, this is what you're straight. That's how you stuck out. And guys, here's a little piece of advice for you too. This is just for the guys. If you're ever the +1 at a lesbian wedding, and it comes to the part of the ceremony when they say you may now kiss the brides, and your girlfriend hits you in the leg and says, don't fucking say anything, the correct response is not, I'm watching, okay? Like you cannot, my girlfriend and I we don't argue a whole lot. Like she just likes to try to be funny though. Like there's a restaurant in Milwaukee called the Vanguard. The Vanguard is awesome. It's artisanal sausages for any disgusting people in here. Just means they put like cheese curds on a sausage. That's what it means. But like we were in line, and they have quirky names for everything. Like they had one called the Giannis and stuff. But they have one that's called the Clemenza. And my girlfriend was like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, oh, the Clemenza is an Italian sausage served bunless over spiral cut noodles, arrabbiata sauce, and arugula. And she goes, you can't even fucking spell arugula. And I was like, are you going to pay for your own dinner tonight? Or is this entirely dependent on my spelling skills right now? You know, people want to get shit called Milwaukee
Milwaukee style, that's where they put, like they got a hot dog and they put cheese curds and shit on top of it because they're trying to die fast from heart disease, okay? Gula, arugula. I didn't even ask you for the country of origin. How about that? And the guy was like, hey, what's she gonna get? I'm like, fucking water. Close me out, dude. Like that was... My girlfriend and I, we don't, like, we do like to like pick at each other, you know, like relationship stuff. Like we like to pick at each other. But we are a team when we have to go fight with our downstairs neighbor, right? Like this lady, she said my girlfriend takes too many cigarette breaks. She said the noise is just too much, the sliding door opening and closing. And I told her that my girlfriend is an ER nurse and sees children die every fucking day. So if she wants to have a goddamn cigarette at 11 o'clock at night, she can fucking do it. And my neighbor said, you need to speak to me like an adult, young man. And I was like, holy shit, this lady doesn't think I'm an adult. I was like, how do you think I got my mortgage? Do you think I just walked into a branch of BMO Harris and I'm like, I want a tricycle? And they were like, sorry, pal, all we got are houses. And I'm like, that's too big for me. And they're like, well, how about a condo? I'm like, sold! So I can live above Annette. We should call her a bitch, but her name's Annette, you know? All right, you guys ready to keep this show rolling? All right, this next comic, he performs all over the Midwest, but he lives right here in Milwaukee. Make a ton of noise for Ryan Mason!
Okay, give it up for Drew, everybody. Drew! You guys tell he's from West Dallas? He said all those bad words?